Hey, it's Ramsey Dewey over here in Shanghai, China. Let's talk about Bruce Lee for a minute. There is this often repeated myth, I guess you could say an exaggeration of something that really happened about Bruce Lee, which is that he was a national boxing champion in Hong Kong, and that is objectively false. Let's talk about what really happened. I think it's really important to talk about what really happened because I think that's what Mr. Lee would have wanted.
The word superstar really turned me off, and I'll tell you why. Because the word star, man, is an illusion. It's something what the public calls you. You should look upon oneself as an actor, man. I mean, you would be very pleased if somebody say, hey, man, you are a super actor. It is much better than, superstar.
Bruce Lee, just like Martha Graham, said movement doesn't lie. The man was about telling the truth. Yes, he was an actor, but he was about honestly expressing himself through his art, on screen and off screen. So let's get to the truth of the matter here. Before I delve into this, I'm going to say I love Bruce Lee. Since the first moment I saw him, when I was a little kid, watching The Chinese Connection, he had an electrifying presence on screen. It was amazing. I wanted to be just like that guy. I wanted to be his best friend. I wanted to do the things that he could do. And when I started reading about him, learning about his philosophy, and I realized his philosophy was not be like Bruce Lee, it was be like you. Better. Ooh, that was amazing. And that was enough. I didn't need Bruce Lee to be a national boxing champion. I didn't need Bruce Lee to be faster than the speed of light and all of these other things that people claim him to be special and to be important to me. So Bruce Lee got into a fight in the bathroom in high school. And since this was a religious high school, a Catholic high school, Brother Edward, who I believe penned the plaque that memorialized Bruce Lee at St. Francis Xavier's College 40 years after his death, Brother Edward wrote quite a bit about how he influenced Bruce Lee in a positive direction by encouraging him to, instead of fighting in the bathroom, to perhaps consider joining the school boxing team and using his penchant for violence in a more positive way. So the plaque at St. Francis Xavier's College says that Bruce Lee was a champion. He was the school champion. But let's take a look at the actual evidence of what happened. We have a few pictures, a few actual photographs of this fight, singular. Yes, he had one fight against a fellow named Gary Elms. There are a few different ways this story is sometimes spun, but the actual evidence shows that Bruce Lee had one boxing match against a student named Gary Elms. These were teenagers. This was a schoolboy boxing match. It was not a professional fight, it was an amateur fight involving a couple of kids. Now take a look at these pictures. What do we see here? We see some raw aggression. We see some kids in some stances that need some work. These are not polished boxers. This is not a world-class performance. This is not a national-level performance. These are high school kids having a scrap with boxing gloves on. These are haymakers. This is swinging for the fences. In this picture right here in the middle, grainy and blurry as it is, we see Bruce Lee being presented something. I assume it's some type of award. He has a smile on his face. He looks content about his achievement. I assume that's the award for presumably winning this boxing match. But yeah, 40 years after his death, Brother Edwards on that plaque wrote, Bruce Lee was the school champion. And champion can mean a lot of things, man. Doesn't mean he won a whole elimination tournament. No. Evidence doesn't suggest that at all. He had one fight with Gary Elms. That's it. But is it fair and honest to say that Bruce Lee was the champion of the school? Well, certainly. If one of the most iconic figures in martial arts, in movies, in pop culture, went to your school, yeah, they'd probably put up a plaque or a little monument of some kind to say, this guy is our champion. Because champions don't just win fights or tournaments. They win the hearts and the minds of the people. And that's okay to say in my estimation. So the truth is enough. Bruce Lee was awesome. He doesn't need to be some national champion boxer as a kid or whatever in order to be cool. He always was, man. He always was. Thanks for watching. Now get out there and train.